All right, guys, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. My name is Lou Valentino. I got my guy Dustin from End Time Generation. He's about to drop some bombshells as to what is coming. I definitely want to have him on because when he came on to one of the panels, he just dropped so much knowledge and so much information about what is going on when it comes to Klaus Schwab and the WEF overall and what they're planning to do. A lot of you guys have been aware of all of this stuff for some time, but I just feel like Dustin has so much new information as to what is going on. Brother, welcome to the show, man.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate you, giving me this opportunity to come on here. A lot of people when they hear WEF, well, they say, well, what is that? Well, it stands for the World Economic Forum, and that was created back in 1971. And what that is, it's a bunch of big corporations coming together, like IBM, Johnson and Johnson, Bank of America, things like that. And what they were trying to do is take the political business and merge it with cultural leaders. Okay. And the World Economic Forum, which is run by the man Klaus Schwab, and everybody knows, it's a group of elitists, and they're trying to control the world. Everybody knows about the Georgia Guidestones and the depopulation of the world. Kamala Harris just came out not too long ago in a speech and said, in the Biden administration, we want to, one of our agendas is depopulating and build back better. Okay, that's all part of the Great Reset, the World Economic Forum, as the famous words out of Klaus Schwab's mouth: you'll own nothing, you'll have nothing, and you'll be happy.
Yeah, no, he's actually on the camera saying this. Like, this is something that they want.
Right.
Yeah.
You remember that show Fear Factor, where Joe Rogan used to have people eat bugs and drink roach milkshakes?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's how it's going to be for us, because in this new world order, this one world governmental system, which is a socialist government, all right, they want to take away your meat. They want to take away your food. And one of the things is with this new CBDC that they need this CBDC because they can control people through their stomach. All right. People will give up their liberties and their freedoms in the name of fear, or if they're hungry. Okay, that's why you've heard about people looking into this orb and everybody's getting free money, right? Well, one of the things they want to do is give everybody a certain amount of money each month. But in order to access that money, according to Klaus Schwab, you need to be microchipped. And they're going to put it, according to the Bible, it's going to be in your right hand or your forehead. And one of the things with this chip is that when you take this chip, according to Scripture, you're eternally lost. You're damned to hell, and that's your fate. But one of the things is with the CBDC is that, let's say you go to the doctor, right? And you say, okay, doctor, I'm here for my checkup. And the doctor looks at you and says, well, son, you're, a little overweight. We need to get you underweight. So while you're on your way home, the doctor's calling the World Health Organization. And before you know it, later on in the day, you decide you want to get a pizza. So you go out and you go to your favorite restaurant, and you go to order pizza, and the guy at the register says, oh, I'm sorry, can't sell you the pizza. And you're like, well, why not? I got money in the bank. I know, but your CBDC won't allow it. Wow. It's been programmed because, according to the government, you're overweight. So they want to control what you eat. So they're going to say, well, it looks like you're going to have salad tonight. And with the CBDC being able to control what you buy, basically anything you consume. They don't want people going to garage sales. They don't want people being able to have transactions, because this whole agenda is about control, about getting you to put this chip in your right hand or your forehead. And one of the things that I remember, they were talking about how this will take care of border security. Because when everyone goes cashless, and that's where we're headed into a cashless society. When everyone goes cashless, there'll be no need to have a border wall, because you won't have people spilling into your country because they won't be able to work. There'll be no paper money. There'll be no under the table. You won't be able to get paid unless you have this CBDC, which is going to be on a microchip the size of a grain of rice that's going to be injected into your body through one of these. They'll put it right here in your right hand or in your forehead. And they did a study. It was I think it was $1.5 million on the best place to put it within the human body. And
so wait, real quick. This is all, like, we can search this up and find this.
Absolutely.
Like, this is not something that you're like spilling.
No. You can look at all
allowed to speak about this. This is something that they're
absolutely
to do.
Yes, you can.
Because they want to create this type of system.
Absolutely, you can do all kind of research on this. And there was this article here. Well, going back to real quick though, they found the best place to put this chip is in your hand right here, because what it is this RFID chip is encased with the glass capsule, and your body, when it moves, it charges it. And how many times, you don't think about it, but while you're talking, people use their facial expressions, right? And you're constantly moving your forehead, moving your eyes. You're very animated and you don't even realize it. But what happens is, so they figured that one of the best places to put it, if you don't put it in your hand, would be in your forehead, because you're constantly moving when you're talking, and it would charge it. But the thing is with the CBDC is that they can now economically sanction you. Like when China or Russia or Iran does something that we don't like, what we do is we sanction them. We cut them off. People can't trade with them. Next thing you know, they start to that country goes poor, kind of like what we're doing with Russia, and we just sanction him and sanction him and sanction. But now they can do that to you individually. It's called, I forgot the name of it, but they sanction people. So that way they cut you off, basically. Because if you don't comply to this,
they cut you off from society, basically.
Yes, absolutely. So like you want to go to the ATM and you want to go get a pizza or you want to go get a burger. Oh, I'm sorry, you can't. You've been economically sanctioned. They can now do that to an individual if it's kind of like when you see in China when they have the social credit score, right? How it's going to work here. And this is the system. That's the system they want to model this after. So like you'll have informatives, right? Your neighbor will be watching you and they'll be talking, oh, okay, yeah, you're doing this and you're doing this. And then they go report you to the authorities, and then their social credit score goes up and yours goes down. So there's going to be nowhere to hide. There's going to be no place to run. And you hear these people who are preppers, right? Well, all these people who are prepping, they're getting water, they're getting food. Well, people watch what's going in your home. People watch what's going out, right? So what's going to happen is you're going to have neighbors who are going to be jotting down, telling on you. So not only is your money going to be spying on you, you're going to have neighbors spying on you as well. And this is how it is in China. If you have a low social credit score, you can't get a loan. You can't fly out of the country. You can't even use the subway because your social credit score is low. And one of the things they do to make you raise your social credit score is give a good report on the system. You have to lie and say, oh, this is the best system there is.
And this is China's system right now.
And this is how it is in China.
Wow.
And this is what they're trying to bring here to the United States.
So
one of the things
real quick, this is going to be one of my final times interrupting you, but I just so interested that this is actually happening in China already.
Yes.
And when you think about, because I was going to ask you, if this is their plan, if this is where they want to go, what place would fall for it first, as far as what place would actually go through with it? And China's already been through with this. How long has China been having a social credit score?
Well, China's been doing it for quite some time. And I do know what they have to do every day. They have to log in to their phone. Everyone has a phone in China, and they have an app, and you got to log into this app, and you have to constantly log in, update it. Plus, with all the cameras that they have everywhere, at every stop sign, every street light, there's nowhere you can run. If you break the speed limit, they will know. It doesn't matter what you do; they will know. You are constantly living in a police state, and that's one of the reasons why they need the CBDC to take away our guns, so that way we cannot protect ourselves. That's why America has not been completely taken over yet by this new world order. Remember when in 2020 everybody was locked down because of this?
Yes.
In Austria and in Australia, what do? They put them in these camps, okay? And they put people in there who were tested negative and tested positive. It didn't matter. They put people in these camps, and they drew a line on the deck and said, if you cross this line, then you're going to be fined this amount of money. But the reason why they were able to imprison people, innocent people who done no wrong, the reason why they were able to imprison them in these FEMA camps, so-called, is because they didn't have guns to protect themselves. That's why they didn't do it here in the United States. And that's why this article came out. Says the WEF calls for free speech concentration camps to jail First Amendment terrorists. Your right to speak,
Wow,
to them makes you a terrorist. So Hillary Clinton said not too long ago, nothing worse than living with someone who shares different political views than you do, right? If I'm a Republican, Christian, conservative, and they're a socialistic Democrat, they can't stand being in the same room. That's according to Hillary Clinton. So what she said was she thinks that everyone, the deplorables, MAGA, she calls us a cult. She said that we all need to be re-educated, right? We all need to be put in what she called a fun camp. Now, let me ask you a question. If you are a Christian conservative, or maybe not even a Christian, it doesn't really matter. But if you believe in borders, if you believe that abortion is wrong, if you believe that marriage should be between a man and a woman, if you believe in the Second Amendment and the right to bear arms, and the First Amendment, the right to say what you want in peaceful protest, then you are going to be re-educated. But if you go in there and you don't change your views, your beliefs to fit theirs, do you think they're going to let you back out? Because one of the things Klaus Schwab said in the article, he said, these people are a threat to society. You are a terrorist. Now, do you think they're going to let you back into society? Oh, well, you know what? We tried. We're just not reaching this guy. Oh, let's just let him back out and go to his 9-to-5 job. I don't think so. The Bible is very clear. All who don't take this mark in their right hand or their forehead, which is everything is coming down to it. That's the whole purpose of the CBDC.
It feels like it, right? You shall not buy or sell without the mark.
Right. And people say, well, then I'll just invest in gold. Well, I'll just invest in silver or maybe Bitcoin. No. They're not going to allow an alternative means where you can buy or sell or trade. They're going to know like I said, you're going to have people policing you. You're going to have people watching you. You're not going to be able to, bug out and do some camping in the woods somewhere, because they're going to locate you. And it's interesting that Hillary Clinton said, never waste a crisis. Never waste a crisis. Why? Because in a crisis, you can take the people's liberties. You can take the people's freedoms. In fact, you don't have to take them. People give them up in the name of the greater good, right? And that's what we've seen over the last 3.5 years. People in fear, still living in fear, still walking around on their face. And I just passed a lady the other day who had gloves on,
Yep,
2 masks, a head shield, and she's sitting in the car by herself. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness.
That's how they got people. They got people to be, afraid of everything. I mean, that's not, I would say it's so wild, because that re-education camp stuff, right? If I'm not mistaken, Jordan Peterson went through something like that in Canada. I think Canada's moving toward, things like that. Obviously, Canada they don't have a Second Amendment, if I'm not mistaken. They don't have right to bear arms like the United States does. So you're seeing this over and over and over. Actually, to your point, we saw Russell Brand get demonetized because of some allegations, and there's a law that was passed by the UK Parliament, if I'm not mistaken, that they can, they have the right to get you to get demonetized. So you already see big tech already falling for that stuff coming from outside foreign countries and nations that are basically going after free speech. We see Owen Schroen. He's going to into prison. Federal prison for 60 days over what he said about the 2020 elections. So we already are seeing it here as far as the police goes. I don't know. It's just so wild to me that people they don't see that this is biblical. Like I
No,
don't know.
well, the thing is what they want us to be focused on is going to the game, going to Hollywood, hanging out with your friends, just live life as normal. While all the while we're sleeping, they're passing these laws and they're giving up our rights and our freedoms. And they're, like I said, in the name of the greater good. One of the things that Canada passed a law was if I'm or you making a video and let's say a guy's watching it in the park and he's just sitting on the bench, someone walks behind him and they notice on his iPad or his cell phone that they're watching your video and they hear something you say that goes against the laws of their land, they can arrest him for watching your program and put him in jail and fine him. Here's the thing. It's going to go on a global scale where you live in America in a new world order. You can say something in the land where you're supposed to have the freedom of speech and the rights and liberties of, someone who lives under the Constitution. But the thing is they can turn around and come and arrest you for something that was played over the airwaves in their country. And that's exactly the kind of what you're seeing with Elon Musk. When you got Elon Musk as a conservative, okay, and he bought out Twitter, changed to X to get out from underneath the legal system of the binding ties that he had with, the heads of state and being part of the World Economic Forum, because they're all in bed with YouTube and, TikTok and all those. And so everyone has to do basically what they say. So that's why they're censoring you, they're censoring me, they're deplatforming us. And God knows how many YouTube channels I've already had now.
Yeah.
I've been in YouTube prison for so long. I mean, it's not even funny. And so I just back out, make a new channel and rebrand it. And then 6-7 months down the road, they get me again. So I can never build my, so I'm trying to get everything now over to Rumble. And ever since Rumble opened up, I haven't really had to worry. But it's coming. They're not going to allow Rumble. Everyone has a price. It's going to come down to it where, they're going to even censor Rumble and you're going to be like, oh my goodness. And, but one of the things that Elon Musk wanted to do was he wanted to take X, which is formerly known as Twitter, and he wants to make it a platform where you can basically now do what Tucker Carlson is doing on there, having video, basically make it like a new YouTube. All right. And because there's money in social media and they're afraid of him because they can't control him. And they know that he now has records to a lot of stuff because Jack Dorsey just gave over everything, didn't delete nothing. He just gave it all over to Elon Musk. All right. And there was even rumors that Jack Dorsey was a conservative as well. And he agreed and did not want to. This is what I've heard, that he did not want to do any of the censoring shit, but he was forced to. He had no choice. And so basically, Elon Musk, they can't control him. And he is now, they're afraid with the 2024 election coming around that he is going to expose a lot of things coming, to do with the Hunter's laptop, a lot of things that had to do with the FBI, because this stuff the rabbit hole runs really deep, man.
So is Elon Musk one of the good guys, or
Yes.
is so you believe that he's one of the good guys?
I believe he's on the fence.
Because what about this? Because he got this Neuralink thing going on.
Yeah,
well, a lot of people are skeptical about.
Well, the government, they use his little satellite system, that Neuralink. They use that. Okay, and that's what they're using in Ukraine. And when Elon Musk found out that they were using his satellites in Ukraine to help in the war, he shut them off. And then he got in big trouble really quickly. He turned them right back on, and he's been getting death threats, and he's been getting a lot of things. So, he's already said they're going to kill him. He believes that.
He really does believe that.
Yeah, he does. He believes that. He was talking to someone in an interview. I forgot it was a podcast he was on, and he just, he was getting high, smoking, and he just, started talking real stuff, and he was like, they're going to kill me. And
so was it Joe Rogan, or it probably was what? It could have been Joe Rogan or the Nelk Boys, I think.
It might have been the other one you just said.
Yeah.
And so they're mad that they can't control him, and that's the one thing that they want, is they want to control the platforms that you and I speak on, because they don't like the fact that we have people gathering in. They're gathering together, like the First Amendment said, whether you're physically gathering together or you're gathering together this way, and you're assembling together, and they don't like that.
It does feel like, and to the people watching it, it just feels like what we're seeing right now is like Donald Trump is not perfect.
No.
Elon Musk is not perfect. All these people, they're not perfect people, but they seem to be on the right side of history with what they're representing when it comes to either nationalism or anti one world. Which it seems like we are headed toward this one world currency, one world type order thing where we have unelected officials as the WEF meeting in Davos and making up all these rules and regulations as to, hey, this is how we want the world to look, and we're going to bring in and give all these people exactly what they want. And by people, I mean like influencers and people who are of status. They pay them, they put them on these lists, they hype them up. But in reality, what they're doing is they're shaping the world to look a certain way. And it seems that a guy like Donald Trump, a guy like Elon Musk, they're like, wait, hold on. If your new world consists of not free speech, anti-Second Amendment, and it consists of exactly all the things that do not represent what our amendment rights even are, it does seem to me that America is the last to fall. Like, if America falls for this, then that's it. They got it. Because we are, if I'm not mistaken, are we the only nation that has the right to bear arms? Like, like we have an amendment right to bear arms.
Yeah, I think we are. I mean, there's other nations that do, and they just do it illegally.
No, but I mean legally, like we legally, like we have something. We have a constitutional right that says that should not be infringed upon. That seems like it's getting infringed upon most of the times. But I'm just saying, are we like, if we fall, like if we turn to Canada, it's over. Like, is it? You think that's it? I think that's the iceberg as far as what we allow and what we tolerate.
Well, I think you're right. I think we are the only ones that have the right to bear arms. But here's the thing: even though we live in America right now, we are still, as bad as it is, as on the decline as it may seem, like it's going down, and like sometimes it feels like the pedals to the metal and we're just free falling.
Yep.
We are still the best country to live in right now.
Yeah.
All right. We still have a form of freedom, not much, but we have a form of freedom. We can still do what we're doing right now. Because if you go to Canada, we would have them busting down your door and my door right now, and we'd be getting arrested live on air.
Well, the FBI is starting to kind of do that now with the United States.
But right now, it's not to the point where we got to be looking over our shoulder. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We still have some breathing room. And one of the things I think is going to end up happening is because Trump is a nationalist. He got in the podium at the General Assembly at the United Nations and stood before the whole New World Order and said, America is a nationalist country. And as long as I'm president, we will be sovereign. It will be governed by the people. And I tell you what, everybody in that room was like infuriated. They were so mad that they had to get rid of him because, number one, he wasn't making them any money because we weren't going to war. And see, Trump understood something. He understood that we had three types of power. We had political power, economic power, and then military power, right? What did Trump do when he got into office? The first thing he did was he launched Tomahawk missiles into Syria. He drew a line in the sand and said, if you cross this line, I'm going to do something. I'm not going to be like, oh, bummer. I'm going to do something. So when Bashar al-Assad did something, he went in there and he used tomahawks. He did that on purpose to show the world that you don't know what to expect with me, because everybody said, oh, when Trump gets in office, he's going to hit the red button and cause a nuclear war. Yeah. Trump's smart. He played on that, shot 2 missiles off, or a few, I think it was like 20 maybe, and then he went home. Then what did he do? After that, he didn't have to use military power anymore.
They respected him, and they
used economic power.
Yeah.
He crushed you with his wallet. And that's the thing. I have this fear is that, say Trump does get reelected, with the administration that we have right now, when they collapse our dollar completely, we're not going to have that economic power that we used to have, because Trump was very good at getting people to do what he wanted. I'll sanction you. I'll sanction you. And look what he did to China. He was putting tariffs on them and making billions of dollars, but he wasn't going to war. They didn't like the fact he walked into North Korea on foot. They wanted to go to war with North Korea. They wanted to go to war with China. They wanted to go to war with Iran. Iran was on the list of some of the 7 countries that they wanted to do a regime change in. So that's why when Israel got attacked by Hamas and Israel said, we're going to war, the United States said, okay, bye, Ukraine. We're going to go protect Israel, because Ukraine was old news. People were like, I don't want to keep, shelling out money to that. Well, now we have an opportunity to make money. But Trump he wasn't like that. He was a man of peace, but psychologically he made you believe that he would use the button, and he would say things all the time like, the calm is before the storm, or, I'll fight with fire and fury, like the likes of which you have never seen. And he goes, I got a big red button on my desk, Kim Jong-un, and mine works, and Kim Jong-un was like, uh-oh.
Mean tweets, and the world peace.
Absolutely. And the thing is the whole entire time Trump was a peaceful man, but he used his political power to get where he was so he could use the economic power to crush you. And he had the military power, but he didn't need it.
Yeah.
And that's why America was so great. And the thing is I got this feeling that if he does get reelected, they will take the United Nations and they'll move to Geneva, Switzerland. They'll go to the other building. They'll pick up and move. They may say, okay, just wash their hands of us, because there's prophecy in the Word of God that says the powers will be out of Europe.
Yeah.
And right now, I don't see America being a superpower that much longer.
Wow. You dropped you dropped.
And it's interesting too, because in the book of Daniel, chapter 7, you have 4 beasts that rise up out of the sea, right? Well, in this prophecy, it says these basically are going to be the nations that are going to be on the earth during the time of Jesus' second coming. So if we are in the end times and we are at the time when Jesus is going to return, then those nations represented in Daniel 7, those 4 nations coming up out of the sea, you had the lion with eagle's wings, right? America is the eagle's wings, and lion is Great Britain, right? And it says Daniel did in his dream, he watched until the the eagle's wings are plucked out of the lion, which basically we came out of our mother country, the lion. And so Daniel saw actually our independence of 1776 in a dream. He saw the lion coming up out of the sea and the eagle's wings being plucked out. And then it says a man's heart was given to it. And we have another symbol as Uncle Sam. But then it said this, there was another beast that come up out of the sea. It was a bear, and it had 3 mouths and 3 ribs in the mouth of it. And it devoured much flesh. I think, my personal opinion, that bear is Russia, right? And the 3 ribs represent the Baltics. And I've had this feeling that Russia is going to take the Baltic states next. And then it said there was a leopard, okay? And the leopard had 4 heads and it had wings of a fowl, all right? You ever heard of the Franco and German alliance? Okay, well, France is the rooster, and that's a fowl, and Germany is a leopard. And the 4 heads represent each time Germany's rose to power. First Reich, Second Reich, Hitler's Third Reich, and then you have another head that was wounded unto death, and that represents that Germany's going to rise to power again. But what's interesting, and my point of all that is, those 4 beasts that come up out of the sea that are supposed to be representing their nations, because those beasts represent their nations, they're going to be on earth during the time Jesus returns. Those 4 separate beasts are now one beast in Revelation 13. And it said, I saw a beast which was like unto a leopard, and his feet were the feet of a bear, and his mouth is the mouth of a lion, and the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. So now you don't see one beast, you are 4 beasts, you see one beast depicting a one world government.
Wow.
So what we're seeing right now is forming of a new world order, but you got to have a one world government. You got to have a one world court. You got to have a one world language, which is English. And the mouth of that beast, that's one, was a lion. Okay. And what is English? The English speaking country. All right. England is the lion. But the only beast you do not see there in Revelation chapter 13 was the eagle's wings. Something happens to the United States of America. Okay. We aren't part of this new world order system, which is why I believe Trump may in fact get reelected, because in the end time, just before Jesus returns, the United States isn't mentioned in Revelation chapter 13. A lot of people say the United States isn't in Bible prophecy. Well, yes, it is. It's right there in Daniel chapter 7. It's the eagle's wings that are growing out of our mother country, the lion, and then we got plucked out. But we are not now in Revelation 13 of the New World Order. So either Trump gets reelected and pulls us out of this New World Order that Joe Biden is, well, actually Obama is pushing us into. Something happens, or we get destroyed militarily in the Mediterranean Sea and through this war that's going on right now.
Which is a possibility.
Which is a possibility. But something happens to the United States. We're there in Daniel 7 depicting the end times, but in Revelation 13, we're not there.
Let's leave it there. Let's leave it there. Let's leave it there. Let's not give them too much, because I want you back on this channel. I know that people want you to keep going. I can feel it. I can read it. I know this is pre-recorded, but I can feel it. I'm looking at your guys' comments, even though I can't see nothing. Let them go. Let them go.
Well, God is good.
Dustin, you have so much knowledge, bro. I do wish I can keep you all day, but I do want to give the people a chance to follow you. And I want to give them a chance to tell me that they want you back on the show to elaborate on what's the role of the United States when it comes to the Bible and what the future holds. And man, you just have you very knowledgeable, bro. I gotta say, man, my mind's blown as to these Bible prophecy breakdowns as to today. Also the breakdowns of the WEF and exactly what the future may hold and what their plans are. Where can the people find you?
End Time Generation. And on Rumble, it's endtime_generation. And I've been doing this since, I don't know, it's 9 years old. I've been, studying and reading the Bible, but I didn't really believe the Bible. When I got older, I grew up and kind of went my own way. But it wasn't until I found something in the Word of God that proved to me that the Bible was true by what was going on in the world. When I saw the United States in Daniel 7, and that United States was the eagle, and that Great Britain was the lion, and Russia was the bear, and the leopard was Germany, and the wings of a fowl were France, and those animal symbols represent each of these nations, that is so supernatural. You can't make this stuff up. And that was prophesied 2,500 years ago, and here we are today. And what's interesting is we got our independence on July 4th, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, in Daniel chapter 7, verse 4, it reads, and the wings of the great eagle were plucked out of the lion. July 4th and chapter 7, verse 4. I mean, you can't.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But Daniel saw our independence 2,500 years ago. God put them in symbols, and these animals represent their nation, kings of their nations. And it said that these will be in power until the stone that is cut out of the mountain without hands and smashes the feet of the statue that King Nebuchadnezzar saw, that Daniel interpreted. And I can go into all of that too. That's a whole nother topic. But basically, what we're seeing right now is all prophetic, it's all prophesied, and it's all coming down to this. He wants to get a chip in your right hand or your forehead, so that way, if you don't take this, you cannot buy and you cannot sell. And the leader of this whole thing right now is Klaus Schwab, Bill Gates. They want to just, by 2026, have everyone with this in their hand. So look for the dollar to collapse real soon here, and look for the CBDC to come out. The central banking currency.
Digital currency, right?
Yep.
Central banking digital currency.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dustin from End Time Generation, we'd love to have you back again. This was a great, great show that I hope that you guys can share to everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you guys on the next one.